That's the sound of excitement. The UConn women's basketball team returning home to Gamble Pavilion as national champions. And of course, how sweet it is. Joining me now to talk about this special season is the longtime play-by-play announcer for the UConn women, Bob Joyce from Fox Sports Radio 97.9. Bob, as soon as they won, other people were celebrating. I was texting our producer. He said, "Get me Joyce. I need him on the show." So just kind of take our viewers, give us a little behind the scenes. What was it like being there to watch number 12?
Kind of surreal, Eric, because it had been 9 years since we had seen a national championship. I mean, they'd gotten close so many times. The near misses in the Final Fours, one national championship appearance, but you knew they were kind of due. But we didn't really know about this year until really 8 weeks ago today, when they went to South Carolina for the first time and put a pretty good whooping on the Gamecocks to end their 71 game home win streak. That's when about the time we felt, okay, they're a national player again. They have a chance to win it. And what we saw in the month of March, particularly the weekend of the Final Four in Tampa, was just extraordinary what they did. It was like the Huskies of old. And, you know, they had this old habit, Eric, of making really good teams look bad. And that's exactly what they did this past weekend.
You know, I just as a fan, of course, not doing sports professionally like you do, watching them put that whooping on South Carolina and then coming back and being the number 2 seed. Now, Gino brushed it off, as Gino often does with many things. But were you surprised having watched those games up close? Because, like you said, from that point, it was clear to me watching the games that they had kind of reached another gear. Were you surprised that it didn't get the national impact that would result in a 1 seed?
No, not really. Based on the full body of work, I mean, losing at Notre Dame, losing at home to USC, losing at Tennessee, those are the biggest profile games. Now, granted, they did beat some ranked teams as well, but those were the 3 high-profile games before South Carolina. So I wasn't shocked that they were at 2. The win over South Carolina put them up to at least the number 1, number 2, because we all thought it was either going to be high 2 or low 1. We thought Texas at the time was going to be the 4th number 1. It turned out to be USC, but I don't think it mattered one iota to Gino. The only thing I think that annoyed him was that we were going west again.
Yeah, well, he made that very clear, his displeasure
Yes.
with that single site. Tell me about, I know one of the things with you being there and being so close to it is, you develop a relationship with these players. You talk to many of them post-game. You travel with them. You see them all the time. What does this mean for Paige Bueckers and her UConn legacy? Obviously, she was going to be Paige Bueckers forever, and it was going to be a legend no matter what the outcome of that game was. But does having that natty make a difference?
It helps, yeah. Now, remember, too, this, Eric, well, a lot of the All-Americans and a lot of the former national champion players that were All-Americans, they had fellow teammates as All-Americans. Paige has only had 2 in her time at UConn. Aaliyah Edwards last season, when they basically played 7 kids and somehow got to the Final Four and were this close away from playing for the national championship. And then this year, Sarah Strong, who was nothing short of sensational. She has wonderful teammates around her. If Azzi Fudd continues to progress the way she did in the month of March, she certainly has a chance to be an All-American next year. But what Paige has done has just been extraordinary given the circumstances, all the injuries that not only she had, but her teammates had during her time at UConn. Says a lot about her and her character. And she has that innate ability to make players around her better. And we saw that in her entire time at UConn. So, yes, while a national championship certainly helps, even had they not won one, her place was cemented pretty well here at UConn as one of the all-time greats.
Let's talk about some of those other players that were around her, because I think some of the excitement for UConn women's basketball fans is that there's such a cast of familiar faces coming back next year, led by Azzi Fudd, Sarah Strong, but also having chances for people like Caroline Ducharme, who maybe will be healthy, and so many people have been hoping for her to be able to get in and play big minutes. KK as well. Tell me about some of these other players that we'll be seeing on the court next year as kind of a preview looking ahead.
Well, we know what Sarah and Azzi can do. They will be the 2 leaders. And everybody's role, even if it's a little bit, is going to change significantly next year. Either it be off the court leadership-wise or on the court. KK Arnold, obviously, is a lot of the focal point now. You're losing both Paige and Caitlin Chen. Does KK have what it takes to be the number 1 point guard? That's number 1. Ashlyn Shade, too. After starting as freshmen, those 2 will have to adjust to their new roles. Obviously, Jenna Olaufi and Ice Brady are going to have to take big steps. You mentioned Caroline Ducharme. I'm going to be interested to see how much she still plays coming off what she went through. She went through a lot, Eric, as you well know. It's well documented. I just want to see how it translates now. She got her feet wet this year. I just want to see how she's going to be able to go through a whole season. If she has a relapse, if she gets hurt again. That's my biggest fear personally, that if she gets hurt significantly again, like she had with a head injury, it probably ends her career. I give her a lot of props for coming back the way that she has. And I just hope that she's able to go through a season healthy and able to contribute in some way, shape, or form. Whatever she gives is a bonus. But this is still going to be a really good team next year. What's it going to look like if they're going to add through the portal or not? That's a big question mark, or lose through the portal. We don't know at this point, but they're still going to be good. They'll be a top 5 team in the preseason national polls next year, and they'll have a threat as long as Sarah Strong and AZ Foot are available with the group around them. I like their chances.
And like you said about Caroline Ducharme, I think Gino said at one point he was worried about Caroline the person, not Caroline the basketball player. That's where her injury was. So to get her to come in and see some minutes, but like you said, we're all hoping she's healthy next year. I want to just pause 1 second. I want to play your final call as they win number 12, and then I'm going to ask you about it. Let's take a listen.
Inbound, buzzer, and that'll do it. On a strong and AZ Sunday in Tampa, the 40th season for Gino Auriemma. The final page has been written, and the final sentence is UConn women's basketball 2025 national champions.
So, Bob, it was a strong and AZ Sunday. Another page has been written. I mean, how much, as a play-by-play guy, are you thinking about those kind of lines before you deliver them? It was a classic. It was a great one. How much of this is planned in advance, and how much of it is just coming out of your head?
Well, a lot of it was with the Strong and AZ and Page part of it. Taking the shuttle to the arena that day, of course, no brainer, Dodge. It's Gino's 40th year. You've got to put that in there somewhere. But you don't know how the game's going to go. I mean, if you have a buzzer beater finish, I don't know if you are able to say that. But, I mean, obviously the ending was kind of anticlimactic. So with each and every break going by as we're getting closer to the end, you know how you're going to implement it. And fortunately, it worked out that way, and it was a good call. I was very proud of it.
Well, we're just about out of time. I just, so many of our viewers listen to you on the radio for all these calls. I know I certainly probably listened to you on the radio more than I caught any other way to hear about the Huskies this year. It's so fun for me to listen to my friend Bob call the games, and I think a lot of people feel like you're their friend, Bob, too. So congrats to you. It was a great season of UConn women's basketball, and we look forward to hearing you again on the radio next year. Thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure, Eric. Anytime. Thank you.